Welcome everybody. Welcome to this new month of Demystifying Monday webinars. And today I'm joined by Elly and Lionel. And today we are going to show you, or Lionel. Lionel is actually going to show you a lot of cool MoGraph stuff. So before we start, I want to take care of the housekeeping here. So if you go to the Maxon website and you go to news and events, you can see all of the free webinars that we are hosting. So this is our new series here, Multidimensional MoGraph, but we're also running hands-on series about Cinema 4D, like getting started for beginners. We're also hosting a VFX and Chill every Friday, and there is a lot of cool stuff coming up. Definitely check this site out. And yeah, if you missed one of the sessions, you can always go to the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel and yeah, search for the stuff that you missed here. Everything is on this channel. Also, if you go to the handout section, you find a link to the Maxon shop in the PDF that is in the handout section. And we want to give away free t-shirts. So you can use the link to go to the website and use the coupon code that's in the PDF to order a t-shirt for free, and you will only have to pay for the shipping. And there's another very useful information in there because our guest Lionel here did some courses for Udemy, and for 4 of them, he's going to give you a significant like discount. So here we are. That's just the first one of his.
I can't see your screen, so I'm not sure.
You can't see my screen. That's
so
interesting.
I don't know
okay.
If anyone else can?
Oh well, I don't think so. Let me. Should have worked in the first place.
Oh, there we go.
So here we go. Cool. So I explained everything without you seeing it.
You explained it so well. Didn't need the screen.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So this is the side of Udemy where you can see Lionel's courses, and you can get a discount if you type in the coupon code. Or is there a coupon code? No, I think it's just the link that you have to click and you will automatically get the discount. All right. So, Lionel, what are you going to show us today? You're muted.
Well, I'm going to show some text animation with MoGraph, and I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think the delay is back.
Is it all right? It looks fine on my end. Well, it should be all right if you. Well, we'll see. You'll tell me if it's really bad.
Yeah, let's see if it works.
Does it seem all right?
It is delayed, but let's see if it works. So I'm gonna make you.
I guess I'm going to. Yes, and I'm going to turn off the camera so it won't be as distracting. So do you make me presenter?
Yes.
Here it is.
Here you go.
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Blank screen for now, but yeah, you can see machine design, and I'm going to turn off my camera so the delay won't be. Maybe it's going to make better. It's not like it's being compressed and your audio video sync is off. Well, I don't know why it's like that. Tell me if it's really bad. Maybe I will try to log out and log in again. we'll see. Okay, so anyway, yes,
All
I
right.
wanted to show you some title design with MoGraph, and the aim here is to be very graphic, to be very 2D, 2.5D, a bit of 3D. What I like about MoGraph and Cinema 4D is to do non-realistic rendering, non-physically NPR. This is the word, I think. So we don't try to be realistic at all. We just want to be non-realistic, and this can allow us to have some very fast workflow because we are almost real time. And you can combine After Effects and Cinema 4D to create some nice design. So for example, here this is straight from Cinema 4D. I'm using Cineware. As you can see, there is not much going on, but we do have a nice animation. And I'm using also here the plugin Texturize Motion, which is a Regent plugin, which gives some cool result. If I just unplug it, we can see the raw animation. So this is done with Sketch and Toon, and the 2D looks is something we're going to see. Let's play it again. You see, this is just with Sketch and Tool. It's pretty nice, and with Texturized Motion, we can have some nice motion too. I do have this one also, which is interesting to see how we can have a shadow with MoGraph with another style of rendering. And a third one, so maybe I'll have the time to recreate all of them, which is very different, which is very flat and nice with the 2D that looks like something from After Effects, and the color, which are automatic. So we'll see how to create a palette, color palette, and how to apply it to a MoGraph. So what's nice with that, it's very easy to change your word, your phrase, sentence, and whatever. It's very easy to use. Actually, I've been using that for some project now, replacing all text animation inside After Effects with MoGraph. Because again, this is rendered straight from Cineware, meaning that there is no PNG sequence because the rendering is very fast. Okay, that's what I did with this one, which was almost real time. And that kind of animation in After Effects will be, it's possible, but very difficult to do. Oh, somebody says, okay, can you see my screen? Because I'm seeing in the chat, I don't see any screen.
I can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, so Greg, I guess that must be a problem on your end. I
Try
hope.
quitting and rejoining. It might, to Greg, that is.
All right, it's my webinar is having some trouble today, it seems. Okay, I see it now. All right, cool. All right, so let's jump to Cinema 4D to see our stuff. So this is one of the design I created just to show you the equivalent, and you can see there is not much going on. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to recreate first one. There is several stuff I want to show you. Okay, so here, this is Cinema 4D R25 with the new interface that I begin to like now because there is some very nice thing like the hot corner here you can create. This is very nice. You just have to get used to the new icons. But that goes pretty fast. Okay, and I want to create some text. So here now it's in this button, and I want to create a 3D text. So this is the MoGraph text object, which was before inside here, but now has its own dedicated column. And I want to change already. Let's go to the object. I'm going to type in motion. Let's choose Roboto, because this is one of my favorite font in bold, and let's put it in the middle. Okay, and because I'm going to do that a lot, we're going to get to use something very nice from R25, which are the preset for everything, as you can see here. Okay, so if you want to, because when you want to create a text, you want to have that font, you don't want to have text written, you want to have all caps and so on. That's something you can record now, you can store as a presets. And I have already done that, as you can see here. And this is very easy to do. You just need to either you save the whole thing here, save presets, or you just take what you want. So here the text spline, which is the words, the font, and the align. And I'm going to right click and save selected as presets. And this is going to allow me to save a preset. I can save in my database. So that's something I have already done. If I go back here and create my text again, so the plain old boring text, and if I take this one, boom, we have our text. So that's a huge time saver. All right, so there's that. Very quickly, something else I want to show every time I use the text object, because not many people know about it or forget about it. You can change the kerning of your text here. So you can change the height, the spacing, and so on. But you can do much more by going here, show 3D GUI. And here, for example, I can take this letter, I can make it bigger. I can take this one and put it more like that, or maybe make it bigger. So yeah, you have to be careful where you click. Then I'm going to take this one. I can move it this way. I can move it this way. I can go back to this one and move it this way, and so on and so on. This is nice. I mean, you can change a lot of stuff. What you can do is to rotate the text. Okay, so that's too bad. Maybe that's something they will implement sometimes. And all the settings are here. And if you don't want, I don't want the mess I've just made, I'm going to reset all. And we're back to that. And I'm going to hide the 3D GUI because I don't need it. Okay, so I have my text. Now let's do some MoGraph too, because that's what we want. We want to do some MoGraph. So I'm just going to show some very simple text animation first. We're going to use 3 ways of animating the text, starting from the easiest to the more complex, but nothing is really complicated here. So let's use first on our text a plain effector. Okay, I want to do some kind of fade-in animation to have my text jump in the air and settled. Okay, so I'm creating a plain effector. The effector is automatically attributed to the letters here, okay? Meaning that's going to alter each letter separately. You can control words, line, the whole thing. Here it's letters. Okay, that's what I want. Perfect. And my effector is putting my letter upward. So I want to do it downward. For example, I want to add some rotation. Let's go this way, for example, and I want to play with the scale because I want to make them appear. So let's use uniform scale, and I'm going to put -1. So everything is going to disappear. Also, I'm going to hide my work plane. I don't want to see it. Now I'm going to use a field, and let's use the linear field. And now what I have to do is just to animate this. And that's easy as that. So let's take a linear field. You don't need to have it as a child of the plane now. So let's take the linear field. I'm going to put it this way. Let's record a keyframe. Let's activate the auto key. Let's advance to 30 frames. That should do it. And that's it. I have my animation. Okay, so I can use here the geometry only playback. I'm going also to reduce. And we have our text animation. Okay, I can make it longer, something like that. If I want to have my words, my letters more spread out, because here they are following very closely each other, it's the size of the field. So if I make it smaller, actually, it's going to be one letter animation at a time. And if I want to have almost everything at the same time, I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, doing so, I have one letter which is still here. If we go to this view, we can understand why. That's because if I deactivate my linear field, let's go more to the front view. Okay, my linear field, or maybe the plane field. Okay, so we have a linear field. We can see it start here. So it should start right there. Okay, and as it's going along here, yeah, just it's very close, but it's going to cover the entire animation. So if I go back to the plane, now we have the entire animation. Okay, so we have some coloring because by default the plane effector in the fields is going to color the words, the letters with the linear field. I just need to untick that and that's it. And well, that's how you animate text with MoGraph. It's very, very easy. And what we can do now is play with some more stuff. For example, I would like to have my animation more randomized. Okay, I still want to have the letters to go from left to right, but I would like to have a bit of random motion, well, random order inside the motion. So what I can do is take my plane effector, because I want to change the animation. I'm going to add the random field, and let's put it here on overlay mode. Okay, we can see already something happening. You see, it's subtle, but we don't have the letters appearing all at the same time. It's still from left to right, but there is a slight lag, slight delay between each letter. I can have even better result here if I put it in random mode. Random mode means it's going to be more random if you want. It's a very simple definition. I mean, I'm oversimplify, but we can say that. And if I don't like what I see here, I can try the seed to have another animation. It's like rolling the dice again. So maybe this one, maybe it's try another one until I have something I like. Okay, so once I have done that, I'm happy with it. I can just untick it if you want to go back to the original. That's very easy, you just untick stuff. And now what I would like to do is to add some overlap animation, some follow through overlap. And we have something very good, which is the delay field. So if I take the delay field, which is here, it's going to be added on top. And here it's smooth. So let's see what happened. You can see everything has been smoothed, meaning that they almost all appear at the same time. They go slowly, they appear very fast, and then they slow down at the end. That's because of the smooth. If you want to have less of this effect, if I put it very strongly, okay, and that's very cool because if you combine that with other settings, you can have some nice effect. If I want to have even more bounce and animation, we can try the spring.
I love spring
Okay.
mode.
Yeah, the spring, I mean, the delay, we can do everything with the delay. And here we can see something strange happening. That's normal. That's because this is a bounce animation. So it's going to draw a sine wave, and it's being capped. Meaning that this button here is, it's like the letters are hitting their head on the ceiling. So you just need to uncheck this, and here we are. And that is typically something very difficult to do in After Effects. And here it's just a few clicks. Okay, so that's the basic
That's a
of
great tip.
animating text with Cinema 4D. There is, well, this is maybe the simplest, but there is one or two problems with that. The first one, I mean, the biggest one being if I take my text and let's type in motion design. So now it's much longer. It's going to some sort of break everything. See, at the very beginning, we see our some letters. We shouldn't see them. And at the end, the animation is actually not finished. And that's because our linear field is not long enough or doesn't travel enough. So you just need to change here. Let's go this way. Okay, so still in AutoKey, it's going to work. Here I'm going to jump to the next keyframe, clicking here. And let's go to the end. Yeah, the strange stuff happening here, it's because I still have my plane effector, my delay. Okay, when you use the delay, you just have to be careful. You can't really jump into the frame like that because it's going to do, or scrub, because it's going to do some very weird stuff. But if I go back to the beginning, it works. And you can see it.
Yeah, that's the thing about the delay. It always needs the frame before. Yes. So whenever you just quickly scrub the timeline, it will break things. Or as Lionel just said, if you jump to a specific point, it will break things unless you bake it. But maybe you wanted to mention that anyway.
Yeah, I was going to show it, but you're right to say that, because when you have the delay effector, it's almost dangerous to work with, because here, if I take my plane, I change some stuff. See, it's going bunker. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, this is not normal. This is because of the delay. So if you use the delay field or the delay effector, you really should deactivate the delay. And now if we go back to your effector and you change, now it makes sense. So be very careful with that. And yes, if you want to scrub through the timeline or jump in the timeline, you need to bake it. And that's okay. Let's go back to activate back the delay, and you need to right click and add in MoGraph cache bake, and that's it. Now I can go anywhere I want and it's going to work. It's now safe again. But if you do any change, like with everything that's been baked, you need to disable the bake, so clear the cache, and deactivate the delay, and then do your change. Okay, so yeah, this
so
way.
Maybe another something
Yes?
I want to add to the whole caching stuff for those who might not be as experienced in Cinema 4D yet. You would also need that if you want to render via your network. So if you want to just spread this scene across your network, your local network, in order to be rendered also on a render farm, you need to bake it in advance to the rendering, because otherwise it will just create crazy stuff that's not intended. That's everything I wanted to add.
Exactly like if you wanted to, you jump through time. So yeah, you have to be careful with the delay. It's super fun, but it's almost dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so this is one way to animate. I like it. It works pretty well, but the problem, if you want to use it as a preset with someone who doesn't know very well Cinema 4D, you have to know to adjust your linear field and so on. So there's other way to animate. There is one I really like using the inheritance effector. So we're going to see that. And then after that, I'll show you how to do the 2D and a half stuff. So let's create a new file. I'm going to create again a text. I can use here my preset. So yes, you can very well use presets only for certain part. For example, here I have a presets to have 100 centimeter of extrusion. So if I use this one, it's just going to add 100 centimeter. It's not going to touch anything here on the text, on the alignment and the height and so on. Okay, let's go back to 20 centimeter. I think it's fine like that. Okay, let's go back to motion. Okay, so this second method, I like it a lot. I think this is my best way of animating text, but it's a bit more technical. It's not very difficult either. We're going to use the inheritance effector, meaning that we're going to animate an object, a random object. It's going to be a cube actually. We're going to work on this animation with keyframe, and then we're going to transfer this animation to the text. So the advantage is you can mix traditional animation using curve, keyframe, and so on, and everything that MoGraph can offer. So it's a very nice way to work, and it's going to work with any length of word. Okay, so if your word is 3 letters or 30 letters, it's going to work just the same. So it's very nice to use it as a preset. Okay, so I need to create the animation. We're going to copy the animation from. So for this, what I like to do is to use just a simple cube. I'm just going to make sure that the cube is roughly the size of the letter. Okay, it's almost like a proxy object. Okay, let's go here. It looks fine. And now I'm going to hide the text because I don't need it. And I want to create an animation on this cube. Okay, so just have to imagine that it's going to be at the end one of the letter of your text. So in that case, I'm going to animate it through here very easily. Okay, so let's say this is the final state of the animation. This is how the animation is going to be in place at the end, because we want to see the text. So I'm going to first make my timeline appear, clicking here. So that's very nice. That only is, I think, one of the good reason to go to R25. It's all the switch which are very easy to use. The materials, I'm going to use that later. So here I don't need to load my animation timeline, my animation workspace anymore. Okay, so here I want to create keyframes, and this is going to be the end animation. So let's go to the 20th frame, and I'm going to create an animation on Y. I want to move it up. Okay, so I'm going to create the animation, the keyframe. I want to animate on this axis. Okay, so let's go back to 0, create a keyframe. I want to, why not, this axis too, create a keyframe, and I want to animate the scale. So create keyframe. All right, so all have been recorded here. Position, scale, and rotation. Okay, now let's animate it. So this is the animated in. I'm going here and let's move it down. So I can make my text visible to see, to have an idea of the proportion of everything. I'm going to create the keyframe. So here I'm not using the automatic keyframe. It's a more manual way of doing it. And I want to animate it this way and this way. Okay, so it's a bit, yeah, something like that. Okay, let's create the keyframe again. So this is the animation. And of course, I want to animate the scale. So here I'm going to put 0, 0, 0, 0. And this is my animation. Okay, so very boring, not very interesting. Now I'm going to hide the cube because I don't need to see it. We're going back to the text, and I'm going to use now the inheritance effector, which is here. Okay, the inheritance effector has been affected to the text because I had the text selected. I mean, I'm doing that all the time, so I don't even think about it. But if you create an effector, you have to make sure that you had your MoGraph object selected before, because this way, it's going to be automatically added here. If you don't do it, you're going to create an inheritance, which will not be linked here, and nothing is going to work. So be careful about that. So my inheritance is affected. And let's go to the effector. I need to put what object I'm going to use. I'm going to copy the animation from the cube. Okay, I don't want to copy the direct, I want to copy the animation itself. Okay, so now if we go, we can see that. Very weird, that's not what we want, because the transform space should not be the generator, the whole thing. It should be affected to each node, meaning each clone, each letter if you want. All right, now it's starting to make sense. We can see this is the same animation. And now we have here the start, end, and step gap. So my animation is going to start here and end here. So let's put 15 frames, for example. Now the animation is that. And let's put some step gap. And we're finished. Okay, so it's very easy. Each letter is going to take 15 frames to play the animation. Each letter is going to be separated by six frames. So if I put just one frame, we're going to have something very smooth like that.
That's a very cool technique. Love it.
Yeah, and this is going to work with anything. So it's very easy to change stuff if you want to have something very letter by letter and very fast. I'm just going to do that. And let's make it super fast. And here I need to change a few letters and see. So obviously, yeah, 3 frame, yeah, that's better to see something, but you can see my letter jumping in. So let's go back to something nicer like 13 and 5. Okay. And what's cool with that is we just don't care about where the word is in the scene or how long it is. So if I take my text, go to object and I type in motion design, it's going to work exactly the same way. Okay, and it could be 100 letters long, it's going to work. Then that's cool, but what I like with this is it's going to copy the animation from the cube. It's going to copy everything from the cube. So what I could do here is obviously use with my text, for example, inheritance with my inheritance modifier, I can use some delay. So just to change things, I can use the delay effector. So the delay effector is going to be added on top of everything. So let's use the delay. I'm going to check if it's there, all right. And the delay, let's change it to spring again. And you can see we have our spring motion. So it works with everything. But what I would like to do is to create my own bounce animation. So I'm going to deactivate the delay and take advantage of all this animation, which is traditional keyframe. Okay, meaning that I'm going to create the bounce myself. So let's go here. I'm going to hit tab or click here to go to the curve editor. I have all my keyframe selected. I'm going to do it again here. And I would like to use something I really like is the auto, well, you can see here all my curve are separate from each other. If I go here to the F curve, I can use auto relative. So now if I use H, you can see very well they're aligned. So if I take my scale, for example, my scale goes from 0 to 100. My position from 0 to 100. It's like it's been mapped. So let's do something. I'm going to take the scale here. I'm going to click Control. Okay, Control, and clicking here, I'm going to add a keyframe. And this is a very basic bounce. Doing that, I'm going to create a very, very basic bounce, a slide bounce, because it's going up and then it's going down again. Okay, if I do this on the position also, so yes, I need to remember frame 13. I'm going to do it here also. So Control, going to add the keyframe. Let's move it up. And let's do that on the rotation too. So this rotation, so this way, this is going to be the opposite. And this one, Control, you can do it in one move, like that. And now you can see already we have the bounce. You see the fact that it's going up and then it's going down. And if I just took all this, the scale and so on, I could create a second bounce like that. So here the animation is too fast so that we can see something. But if I take my inheritance and here give more space for the whole thing, you can see here the bounce in the scale. Let's move it down. You can see it here when it bounced. And then I can do that on the, if I'm going to add it here, it's going to be more obvious. So yeah, obviously I need to refine this. But I'm creating my own bounce. Yes?
We've got a question here. So Pamela was asking how you got to F-curve mode in the timeline again.
How did I switch to F-curve?
Yes.
Tab, just need to hit Tab. And actually, you have some F-curve here, but I don't like that. I hardly ever use this because it's not very precise. You can see everything is just squashed. I don't like it, so I always use the real F-curve, or you have all the function you want. And this is also this, but
exactly.
Tab is
that's what I just wanted to add. Cool.
So I'm going back because I don't like this bounce. Oh, looks like no. Okay, I'm fine. Let's go back. Let's go back. I think we're fine. Just one bounce was fine, I think. Okay, and here we are. And this is without the delay. And of course, you can use the delay with it on top of it. So if I use a delay, it's going to add another bounce. It's even more bouncier. I don't know if you can say that, bouncier. More bouncy, I don't know. We can in blend, it's going, yeah, blend is going to, well, to blend everything, it's not a good idea. I can use the spring, but a very low value. And when you use the delay effector in the parameter, actually you can make it so it's only to work on the position, for example. So if I go back here, make some more bounce, you can see it's bouncing on the position, but not on the scale or the rotation. So yeah, I don't like, I'm just going to untick this. Okay, so that's my favorite way of animating text because this is real animation you're doing. Because MoGraph is very fine, but it's almost too technical. And here, if you know how to handle keyframe, you can have some great settings and recycle your animation skill and apply them to MoGraph. Because here, what I just did is put that here, animation, and change a few stuff here, and you're done. And it's going to work with any length of text and so on. Okay, so
it's a great technique. Thanks for sharing that. Cool.
You're welcome. That's for the MoGraph part. We're still in Cinema 4D. Now I wanted to show you a few tricks how to use Sketch and Toon and how to create some 2D, 2.5D, like I showed you here with this animation. So now you can recognize how I did this animation, but this kind of graphics, you can see very clearly there is no perspective. It looks like some 2D later when you put some fake 3D on it. And then we have all this animation. Looks like very hand-drawn. This is Sketch and Toon and some tricks you will see. And if you add I really like this one. I think it's new, the texturized motion. It's been released on the last release, R25, maybe the last one. I don't know. You see, it's going to create some jerky animation like that. If I deactivate here the posterized time, let's go back to the beginning. Oh yeah, so what's happening here? It's because I'm using Cineware. It just go a bit bunker when it does that. Either you cache your animation using the MoGraph tag like I showed you, or you just purge the memory, make sure to start from the beginning. And we have the animation. So texturize is create this kind of random animation, moving a bit stuff around. Okay, so how to create that fake 2D look. So I'm going to use the same animation we have here. I'm going to hide our timeline. Let's go here where we have everything. So the problem, if I take my camera, let's add on the text some more depth. Okay, so I'm going to create some depth. And if I'm going this way, for example, I'm going to have the perspective, too strong perspective. So I have here very much the extrusion on the M, on the N, and almost nothing on the O, on the D, and so on. And no matter what I do, it's not going to fix it because that's how perspective work. All right. So one way to correct that is not to use perspective. And this way you can do it using a camera. So let's create a camera here. I'm going to become the camera. And the trick here is to use the parallel camera. Okay, parallel camera, orthographic camera. There is no perspective anymore. So to make it really work, I'm going to the coordinate. I'm going to reset the rotation. Okay, and I want to reset also this one, so we are centered, and this one will be the height if you want. And the Z is not going to work. That's very weird. You need to go to the object and change here the zoom. As you can see, we don't have any focal length anymore because this is a parallel camera. So let's zoom out, and that's it. And we don't have any depth anymore because, again, this is orthographic camera. So what we can do is take our object and just, if we go to the all and transform, well, I don't need to do it actually. Let's go to the coordinate. It's easier. You can just change this. And you can see we have already this 2D, 2.5D look. Let's see our segments. Let's go back. Okay. And they all have the same length. But as you can see, if I do this, I'm going to skew it a bit. It's not working really well. So there is a trick to change that, but let me just show you before. If I create a text spline, okay, and the text spline, yeah, it doesn't have, of course, the same settings as before. So let's do a quick motion only that will work on middle, okay. Let's put it bold, okay. And if I put it inside an extrude modifier, which is here, Where is it? Here, Alt. So we still don't see any depth, even if I increase the depth here. But if I change the direction from to custom, and we have 100% on the Z direction. Now, if I add on the X and Y, you can see we have our effect. And the depth here is the same everywhere. And that's what's cool with it. It's almost like a font, like a bold character. The width is coherent. It's not going to change. And we do have this look of 2.5T. It works very well. So the problem, using that with the extrude modifier on the text spline, we can make it work because this is not Cinema 4D MoGraph object anymore. I can make it work if I take my extrude and put it inside another object, which is a fracture. Fracture is going to separate everything. So here we are in straight. Let's go to explode segment. And now I can copy the effector we have used. So if I take my inheritance, and let's go back, you can see it works. Let's go back also here. So what's cool with this technique is you can, with the extrude here, just change anything you want. You want to have something like that, for example. It works. That's pretty nice. Let's create some material to see it better. I'm going to create one material, white, and another one which will be red. If I put this one on here and the red here, and the white one will be on top, and the white one, I'm going in the selection, use a C1 selection, meaning that only the cap is going to use that material. So now we can see much easier how it works and how we create this effect. And that works. The fracture object with the extrude works exactly the same as the text, except that you don't have the ability to animate only a word or sentence. That's the only difference. Okay, so very quickly, because time is running fast, how to create the sketch effect, and that's really cool. I'm going to use Sketch and Toon. Sketch and Toon, which is very old now, almost obsolete, but it's not, because it's wonderful and so powerful. I still use it a lot, very, very often. I know a lot of people do too. So if I want to use Sketch and Toon, let's see first. The render it's ugly. I mean, there is no depth. It's not very interesting. If I want to use Sketch and Toon, I just need to go here, and I'm going to create a new sketch material, and that alone is going to create here the Sketch and Toon. It wasn't there before, okay? Meaning that it's going to be applied on the scene. Now I'm going to use here the, it's not there anymore. Something, oh yes, it's here, all right.
What are you searching? Ah, okay.
It makes sense. The render selection, actually, it makes sense to be here, of course. So render region, that's it. Interactive render region. Actually, I'm always using Alt-R. It's easier. And now you're going to draw here. Let's increase the quality. Also, I'm going to make only geometry. So now we can see we have some sketch on top of it. So to better show that, if I go to the Sketch and Toon parameter, we can see the background is using a white color, okay? And the shading here is using something I don't want to use. I'm going to use the background also. So now there is no more color, and I have only the sketch, the stroke material. So now I have this. I can use the sketch material, which is this one, which is used inside the scene. Just going to zoom a little bit, okay. And my sketch material, even though it's not applied to the object, it's being applied, okay, because it's being applied there. Default visible sketch matte, which is this one, meaning that every object in the scene is going to use this sketch material. And now I can do a few stuff. Well, I could just use some presets already built in, but it's very easy to change a few stuff to make it look better. For example, I like a lot in thickness. Let's use the along stroke. Okay, it's going to do that. And because it's too strong an effect, I'm going to change here along stroke range line. Let's put it to mode linear to spline. So now we have spline to control this, and using control, I'm going to add this keyframe. And now we can see we have the effect not as strong, but it creates some nice variation. Okay. In the adjust setting, we have some option. One I like very much, but I'm not going to use it for animation, is the overshoot. If I add some overshoot, it's very nice for some technical animation. You can animate those actually with Sketch and Toons. It's a bit difficult, so I'm not going to show this, but I just wanted to show you this one. It looks like some technical drawing. It's pretty fun. And you even have some option here to change a screen offset. For example, if I do some, see, it's going to skew the lines randomly based on those parameters. It's really so fun to use. Okay, let's go back. But I do want to use another one, which is in the clone. I almost use it every time. Clone stroke is going to clone the stroke. And here, using again the start and end, it's going to randomize a bit those strokes. You can see here we have some more or less stroke at some place. And this one is actually the one I used in the After Effects file I showed you. So it's very fast to use, and it's still working with the animation. And it's so fast, it's almost real time.
It's really great. I mean,
I love Sketch and Toons. I really hope they're going to overhaul it a bit.
If you just render this to the picture viewer, what render times are we talking about?
It's
very
fast.
than a second for a full HD frame, or is it more like
instantaneous? It's 1280, I think, but it's not going to do. Let's go to Let's go to the presets, film video. Let's go to HDTV. So it's 1920. Let's do it again. See?
It's awesome.
There are almost no render time, and that's why you can use it inside After Effects. So that's what I did. I'm going to conclude with that because time is running out. But I showed pretty much what I wanted. So if you want to use it in After Effects, it's very easy. You just go there. Let's put all that into an old folder. Okay, you're just going to import the file. Oh yes, I need to save it. If I don't save it, I won't be able to do anything with it. So let's call it webinar. Let's go back to After Effects. And yeah, I'm going to import it, webinar. It's going to create the composition with it. And this is the viewport. I don't want to see the viewport. I want to see the current rendering. And that's it. And because I haven't used any delay deformer, you can see it's drawing almost, it's almost instantaneous. And what's great, I can use with that, let's use a texturize motion, which is quite fun. And this is a universe plugin. Let's change the to this, and I like texture behavior. This one, watercolor, and this is more or less what I showed you earlier. So yeah, it's going to posterize the time. Maybe it's a bit too much. Yeah, well, why not?
Well, it definitely depends on the style that you're after. I like
Yeah.
it.
It has a kind of MTV from the 90s vibe, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when I
Cool.
was a teenager, I really loved this animation. Oh yes, because why is it a bit not so great here? Because it's in half resolution, so yeah, this is the full resolution. But also when you use Cineware, you use Sketch and Toon, you'd better change your settings because we're using standard Cinema 4D. You can't use Redshift with that. That's really a shame. I would love to have Redshift and Sketch and Toon on top of it. Maybe sometime, maybe one day. So here, anti-aliasing, don't forget to change from geometry to best, and you'll have smoother line and so on. And it will still be almost as quick. Well, that's it. That's the idea. So we have time for question for once.
Yeah, maybe for one question. We answered a lot of questions in the background. So Anders just wanted
I see
to
that.
say that he really loves this example. And yeah, people's response is very good on this example.
Looks wicked.
Get to
Yeah,
show myself
it's
again.
really cool.
So
And
yeah,
so fast.
I will provide the files maybe not tonight, but very soon. In the tomorrow, I'll try. It's not very. Just want to iron it out a bit so that can be used. But with the different example, I haven't had the time to show you the color thing.
Yeah, I
You'll
mean,
see
we've
that
got
in
a few
the
Mondays
file.
left this month.
Yeah.
So it's,
Sure, we'll fit it in.
But I'm sure you will take all the whole time you do. 1 hour is not enough.
No, now that we know that you still have something, we won't take up the whole time. We will leave some space for you, because this is a very interesting topic. I mean, Sketch and Toon is such a powerful thing, and many people just don't know that it exists. Others don't know how to use it, or to use it in a very easy way, just the way that you showed us in this session. And I mean, this is really great. I mean, you just tweak 2 parameters and you already have a look that is really complex, but also clean enough to be readable and so on. So it's perfect for title design, especially when you combine it with the stuff in After Effects like you just did. I really love it. Perfect.
That's why I like to create title with Cinema 4D alone. When people ask me how do you create title in After Effects, I answer Cinema 4D. They're always surprised.
All right, so there was one question. Any reason why new extruded text will only animate by the whole word instead of by letter? So I think that's a matter of the setup.
Yes.
So as Lionel, yeah, go on.
If it's only the usual here, I mean, when you create a new text, so let's create a new file. When you create the text object, we did the MoGraph text object, it's still, if you create any animator, let's put a random, for example, where is it? Random, it's going to be applied to the letters. So maybe you put it in the words or in the line, I don't know. That didn't change.
Yeah, either that, or if you use the extrude, it's also possible that you forgot to create the fracture object as well, or just didn't set it from straight to explode.
Yes, you're right. I didn't understand the question. This is this one. You need to go from straight to explode segments. If you use straight, we will see here, yeah, the whole world is being animated. which is interesting also, but explode segments, now it works as it should.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. So let's see if there's another question. No, I think we can wrap up, and I'm gonna grab the screen back. Thank you very much, Lionel, for this. It
You're
was
welcome.
a really great tutorial, or a really great session. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and here
In
we go.
German.
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
That's
We can
perfect.
see
That's
the
better
website
than
in German.
in the beginning. So yeah, again, because you didn't see it earlier, this is the events page on the Maxon website. So if you go to maxon.net and then you go to news and events. Oh, I just noticed that this is the German side. So if you go to news and events, then you will see all of the webinars listed that we do for free. So we've got the demystifying post-production sessions, we've got the hands-on sessions this month with Elly and Matt, who are doing a beginner's workshop for Cinema 4D, and VFX and Chill on Friday. And there's also a few other things coming up if you scroll down. So if you came late to the party here, you can always rewatch the whole session, or like if you just want to rewatch the session, you can always go to the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel and find all of the recordings of our sessions here. So there is a whole lot of stuff that you can watch. And also, we want to give away a few t-shirts. And if you go to the handout section of the GoToWebinar interface, you will find a PDF with the link to this shop here and a coupon code that you can use on checkout. And this way you will only have to pay for the shipping, and the t-shirt is for free. And the other thing where we are offering, or where Lionel is offering a pretty solid discount, is his courses on Udemy. So there are 4 courses. So this is the first one, Cinema 4D, the essentials. But there's also a discount on all about modeling, unleash the power of MoGraph, as well as master motion tracking with Cinema 4D. So if you're interested in those topics, you can see the discount is quite huge. Get them, support Lionel, and yeah, that would be great. So cool. I'm gonna wrap up here. Thanks again, Lionel, for this fantastic session. Also, thank you, Elly, for answering questions in the background. And we will see you next Monday. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.